Hello and welcome back to another episode of Radiohead on PopCulture Reacts as we are working our way through the bends and we are at Fake Plastic Trees.
Track numero 4. Another one of the singles and another one with a video. So you get to look at pretty pictures.
Ooh, pretty moving images.
Yes, don't get too distracted by the colours and the shopping trolley. Spoiler, big feature of this video. Um, so where are we at so far with the bends for you? We had 3 tracks. What we saying?
One that I like, the title track. The opener was alright. I could, if it came on, I wouldn't skip it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to it. And High and Dry can do one.
Well, I mean, I was trying to kind of think. I think, God, I probably shouldn't say this in advance. I probably shouldn't set you up, but I feel like you might find. I think you might think this is more in the high and dry camp than anything else. But we shall see, I guess. But yeah, as I say, like if right now before listening to this album again, and again, often I'll do this. But I would say that this is my favourite track from this album right now.
So it's the one that the title rings a bell, but I couldn't.
Again, it's a single, so you may well have heard it along the way,
Yeah.
like playing on the radio or in a pub or something like that. But yeah, and again, I think you'll probably know it pretty quickly if you know it.
So shall we make some fake trees?
Let's do this.
The green plastic watering can for a fake Chinese rubber plant and a fake plastic girl. That you bought from a rubber man in a town full of rubber plants to get rid of itself. The world's around. The world's around. The world's around. The world's around. She lives with a broken mind, a crackpot of styrene man who just crumbles and burns. Used to do surgery for girls in the 80s, but gravity always wins. And he wears them out. He wears them out. He wears them out. She looks like a real thing. She tastes like a real thing. My fake life. wears me out. It wears me out. It wears me out. It wears me out. And if I could be who you wanted, if I could be who you wanted all the time, all the time.
Caught it before any dirty consumerism adverts jump in there. Although I do realise, ironically, part of the way through that, I put myself on mute to drink from a bottle of Coca-Cola in a song that is ripping into the consumeristic ways of life in the 90s that we've obviously seen carry on since the 90s. But yeah, so apologies to Tom York for not learning the lessons of this song. Right, over to you. Go.
Again, not one for me. It's again, as I said with High and Drive, for this sort of thing, it's an all right version of this sort of thing, but it's not the sort of thing that I like. When it sort of the back end of it, where it gets that little bit louder, it picked my interest a little bit. But yeah, it's not for me. It. If you then sort of said, obviously what you said in the last one, with you can see where Coldplay came from. This is very much the one that I'd go. I can see where Coldplay got all their ideas from. It's from this song. This clearly birthed that whole Coldplay and those sort of ilk bands. But yeah, it's not one for me. I wouldn't be putting this on again anytime soon.
Not really much I can do, is there? Not really much I can say. Might as well end the video there.
Well, you could, wax on why you like it as much as you do, and it's your favorite.
I don't know. I feel like there's no point, is there? I feel like you've predetermined your decision there, and that you're saying pretty much if the songs ain't hard and fast, you ain't gonna like them.
Not saying that at all,
That's exactly what you just said, isn't it?
but this just, as I said, for
Lyrically, vocally, anything.
vocally, it's that what I think of Radiohead vocals, where it's that sort of slightly whiny vocals from what I've heard of other stuff beforehand, with, as I said, like no surprises and things like that. You can see that that's where his tone and vocals are. So didn't have the lyrics up, so I can't say I followed along with everything.
I mean, that's quite a key part to a song, isn't it? Especially a song that is got a message, and for something that I'm going to say, not to be precious, but I'm going to say offhandedly saying is dull and not for you, but without taking in one of the biggest parts of it.
But this is obviously a first time thing of listening to it. As I said, you said it's one of the singles, but I don't think I've heard that before.
No,
or if I have,
but
it's not sunk in. But
isn't that a core part of it? knowing that they are a band that has a that write songs that are specifically lean into social things of the time, um, wouldn't taking in the lyrics be a big part of it? I don't know. It's hard on the first listen, but I don't know. Like, and again, I don't wanna come across as being overly defensive here, but I honestly don't think you're giving them a go. I don't. I think you're going, don't like the music at the end, and I
Well,
don't
it's
think you're kind of taking in it or even attempting to take in the experience, because I think your critiques of them have been wafer thin, if I'm honest, on the last two songs.
the thing is with everything when we do these, I unless it's the translation ones, I don't have the lyrics up because I take it in as the song as it is.
Yeah, but
So
that's
I'm
why I asked.
doing
Like,
this the same as I do
yeah,
with all of them. You know, is it one of those of where I listen to it again, but with the lyrics, and that may I might go, oh, this is there's much more there lyrically, but the song still isn't for me. But I like the meaning behind it. That's a come back and I'll have a look at it, and obviously when we then go into the next album, I can go, when I've then listened back
yeah.
to it after the fact and with the lyrics, I went, there's much more there. But I said we're doing this on a first thing, and I said I don't pull the lyrics up for other
But you
stuff,
hear them; they're there.
but it didn't grab me with the lyrics and stuff that I was sort of taking them all in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as I say, that was just a question, because I kind of, as I say, I think to be honest, you're not going to like this experience, and I think if you're going to come at the end of every song with just dull, then I'm not going to like this experience either, because I kind of need more than that if we're going to do reactions and critiquing things. Because just going, it's not my sort of thing. We do a lot that isn't my sort of thing. Um, but I think that it's about discussing where it sits in and what it does as a piece, and how it does against other music like that, not just done.
Well, from there on out, I will make sure I've got the lyrics up so I can.
I don't need to. No, don't get snippy like that. It's not about
No,
having the lyrics up. It's about giving it a chance. You don't need the lyrics up. You're hearing the lyrics. So I think it's a fair question for me to ask. Did the lyrics do anything for you? And you said, well, I didn't have the lyrics up. No, I think that's a fair question if we're going to critique a song, as to did the lyrics do anything for you. I guess the answer would be no, because you didn't take them in, and that's a fine
yeah.
answer. But that's not the answer you gave, is it? You said you didn't have them up.
So yeah, so they weren't. That wasn't to the point where they were going in with the music and everything else that was going on.
I mean, again, like, this is going to sound like a knock. It really isn't a knock. It surprises me that lyrics weren't going in, because you find the music and his voice so dull. So I assumed that actually that would give you a chance to listen to the lyrics, because you weren't really into the music or the voice.
But if you, why is it that you feel this is your favourite?
A large part's the message in it. The large part, like, it does very much speak to um, where I feel about the world now, and probably wasn't quite where they were then, but starting to get that way. The anti-consumerism, the everything being fake, hence the fake plastic trees with the fake plastic watering can. And I think, even just starting off with that, I think it's such a beautiful analogy to so much that happens in the world, is that we'll take something that's beautiful, like a tree, something that's amazing, and we will break it down into its probably blandest parts and create a plastic version, which is the abject opposite to what a tree is, and if anything is probably destroying the world around it by creating things like fake plastic trees. And I love the fact that they can craft a very elegant, very beautiful song. And I do absolutely disagree with you on the music side of it. I think yes, this has the acoustic leanings, but I think this is probably the first time for them, or the first very large scale time for them, that they start to loop in lots of orchestral elements that are running behind that. Now they're subtle, they're not there to overpower, but they loop in behind the guitars quite the way through it, and at key moments, and at key builds, and I think it really does stand out. And I look at it as, and you know, I've said I like his voice. I think his voice suits the music. I think his voice suits the subject. I think this is possibly, to this point, his best lyrical performance. I think this is where he uses the voice more, and it undulates more throughout the song, dependent on what emotion he is trying to get across at the time. Because you know, this song has melancholy in it, it has sadness, it has anger, frustration, aggression, and I think he starts to modulate his voice very, very beautifully throughout this. And for me, it comes together as a great package. I think it's great lyrically. I think it's great vocally. I think musically, it's very, very smart, very, very clever, very, very undersold. And I think, again, you know, it fits in with the motif of the song. If it was very, very overly produced, then it would be the fake plastic trees that it is raining against. And I think you wrap all that together, and I think you've got a wonderful piece of art in this song. And I would call. I think that's why sometimes this one stands out as a bit of a highlight for me on the album. Is this is, you know, we talk about music a lot, and music can be fun, music can be excellent, it can be quite poor but still be quite fun. But I think when you get to certain levels of creativity, I think it comes out of creativity and becomes closer to art. And I know people would argue that maybe all music is art, but I don't think all music is art. But I think this is something that does lean into, and by art I mean good and true art. And I think this song is art for me.
So it is. I think, like, obviously I can see why you like it, and when you put in that sort of thing, as I said, I think said it didn't grab me or do anything for me. But as I said, it may be one of those is that when I'm sat there and listen to it again and reading the lyrics along with it, that it does grab me more, or you know, I can hear the bits you're saying about the orchestral side and things like that in there on a second listen, that it grabs me that bit more. Because the thing is, like, as I said, see, the people like this is one of those bands and albums that you always see in best of ever lists. So there's something there that's obviously that a lot of people see. As I said, it may just be a thing where it doesn't do it for me. As I said, on these last two songs, you know, the first two, you know, there was bits there that got me and stuff. So you know, they've still got another, what, 8 songs left on the album. You know, so
Yeah.
they're at a 50-50 hit rate at the minute. Could still be won over.
I mean, I don't think they will. It's the honest truth. Like, I don't see it. I think you got, but also I never thought this would be the album that would. You know, like as I said, this is the most commercially kind of viable one of theirs, I think, and still, like for me, some amazing sort of stuff on it. And I think, again, partially that's why I think I do still really love this album, is that it almost snuck in things that other bands weren't sneaking in, that were releasing maybe more commercially viable stuff. I think it has so much more substance, and that substance being musically and lyrically and vocally throughout the album. But yeah, I don't know. And I'm going to say it now, I don't think you're going to give him a fair go. That's the feeling I get, but we shall see.
Well, what is next?
Next up is Bones. Them bones, them bones, them. No, it's just bones.
Ah. So, as
Not
always,
sung by the Doctor from Star Trek. It's not. Promise.
so as always, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and all the YouTubey things. Comments down there. And until next time, and we have some bones. Goodbye.